Hello, arty friends. This journal page that I'm doing today is in my small journal, and it will start, as they almost always do, with a quick layer of gesso. But there's really no reason for you to watch me apply all that and dry it, so you get the idea, right? So we'll move right along to the next part. I'm going to apply this napkin. There's 3 layers to this napkin. Usually they come with 3, so separate the very top layer off very carefully. I tore mine a little bit. I'm going to apply it with Mod Podge. I'm doing the first half at the top of the page, and for the life of me, even after retrying, I could not get it straight. Right there, yeah, it's a little bit crooked, but I'm gonna fix it later, so no biggie, right? So now I'm putting the Mod Podge on the bottom half of the page and gently smooth that out, working the crease with my brush handle. Quickly dry that off. I probably should have dried it a little bit more in hindsight. The napkin was just a little bit too tacky to be tearing, but very carefully took the edge off. Then I want to fix that little gap right there. It just bothered me. So now it's as good as new, you can't even tell. Okay, now I'm going to put another layer of gesso over the top of the napkin. And here again, I really should have dried it a little bit more or been a little bit more careful. It tore just a little bit, but I ended up covering it up anyway. So this will just push the pattern of the napkin back a little further into the background. You'll still be able to see it, but it just won't be quite as vivid in the finished product. I think those flowers were still just a little bit too bright, so I'm knocking them back just a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to use my sepia archival ink and a really loose script stamp. I really like this stamp. It's loose and flowing. Adds a nice texture to the background. That's going to be my focal image. That's a book page with some wipe-up paint on it. Working with that, deciding where it needs to go. Working on the edges with that same archival ink pad. So as I get all this laid out, thinking I'm ready, I decide I'm not ready with the background, and I'll go back in and after I prepare my focal images, I'm going to go back in just a moment and add some more to the background before I glue this down. But you know how you've got to look and figure and rearrange. And I'll give you a spoiler alert. One of those roses and those little scraps on the left don't make the final product. Kind of distressing the edges of that little card and using some ink on the edges of that as well. Okay, now here's where I look it over and think, you know, I need something right there. But then I want some more on the background. Yeah, take that off. We got to add one at the back. That's a Finnebar stamp. That's a very old stamp, a key. I dug out some of my older ones that I haven't used in a while. This key, and a little later on I'll use another little rubber stamp, a red rubber stamp. It's a butterfly. Stuff that you should forget about, and it just didn't get used anymore. So I went through before I started this and picked out a few things that have been sitting in the bottom of the box for a while. Okay, this is a ribbon. I'm putting some distress ink on it. Off camera, I spray it with a little water, and then I'm drying it. I move that distress ink around a little bit, and I've got very tiny safety pin. Attaching that to the card, and I'll attach this to the page with a brad. I just attach a little bit so that it will stay in place on the page, but the edges are not fully attached. I like the way that looked. Okay, now this one is coming back with the girl sitting in the window and my book text, and just one of those roses is all that made the cut. Okay, now it's time for the quote, and I won't make you watch all of that. We'll start getting them attached just a little bit, and then cut back in when they're all glued down. Okay, now I'm going to go around it with a brown Sharpie marker. Kind of stayed a lot in my brown and sepia inks. I used a little bit of black because I think you need a little bit of black on the page, but a lot of my scripts and inks around the edges of the images and around my quote, I stayed with browns and sepias just to keep it softer looking. Okay, that's that old butterfly stamp I was talking about earlier. And the yellow ink did not show up as well. So I went back over it with the sepia again. And actually, you'll see in the finished product, off camera, I went back and highlighted those butterflies, brightened them up with a little acrylic paint, just so they'd pop a little more. So, I think this finishes it up. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please like, comment, I love your comments, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.